Hi, everyone. I'm here with Derek Thornton, Associate Director of Clinical Systems at Amgen. Hi, Derek.
Hi.
Hi. Um, Firstly, thank you for joining us for the interview in advance of the IRT meeting in October. If it's okay with you, I'd like to kick off with something a bit fun, which we're calling the IRT Fast Five. So I'm going to quick fire some options at you, and each one you have to pick one out of the two answers. Is that okay?
That sounds good. Thanks, Sarah.
Okay, cool. So, configured or custom?
I'd say custom.
Okay. Randomization schedules created in or outside of the system?
I'll say outside the system.
Okay. Long specs or short specs?
Oh, with a custom, you got to say long specs, but I want them shorter.
Fair enough. Hard stops or soft stops?
Oh, soft stops.
Okay. And the final one is a yes or a no. So, eligibility questions captured in the IRT.
Yes.
Okay, there we go. Perfect. I'll have
I'm
to look what the
I'm
others have
more old
said.
school, I think.
Maybe I'll put them all together and we can see what everyone says next to each other.
Yeah.
Um, cool. So, at Amgen, obviously, as we said, we introduced you. You're global head of the IRT team there. And in October at the event, you're speaking on robotic process automation, or RPA. Can you speak a bit to how this is being done within Amgen and what you think the benefits are?
Yeah. Even though I think I'm a little more old school, just in some of the approach we take here at Amgen, but this is something more, I think, more cutting edge. Where we're trying to embrace, this world of AI, machine learning, automate everything, right? So, we're seeing that being applied across the pharma industry as a whole, and we want to find ways to introduce efficiencies into the RT practices using it. So that's why we started this last year to implement this robotic process automation. So, or RPA. RPA is in essence just leveraging what they say software robots or
Mhm.
computer code, right, to automate these repetitive tasks that are typically handled by us humans. So we've found in our processes that a lot of staff are doing many things as part of this system setup that can be handled robotically. So we're talking like extracting, formatting, loading, setup information into the RT system. So we're starting out small. We've just got an RPA process that is handling the provision, formatting, and checking of like site information
Yeah.
that they then upload into the IRT systems. But we're looking at this as something we can expand on, including like site user data upload, system setup parameters, just anything that we can kind of run through an automated process helps reduce down the effort of an individual to set up an IRT systems.
Okay. And a bit of a curveball question here. So, obviously, in the news, I mean, I say it every day, you see people talking about generative AI and how it can be
Hmm.
applied, talking about it a lot in clinical trials and lots of different areas of clinical trials. And obviously, you're mentioning how your RPA is reducing some of, I guess, the human heavy lift that needs to be done and saving you guys time. Um, but do you think that AI will ever fully replace people when it comes to IRT, or do you think there'll always be some aspect of needing people and AI working hand in hand?
Yeah, absolutely hand in hand. Generative AI is only as good as what you input into it, right? The right questions, prompts, whatever.
Yeah,
Now, will there be opportunity there for leveraging generative AI to make things easier? Introduce efficiencies or get information. That definitely would be a lower hanging fruit is getting
mhm,
information out of these systems across different programs that we have.
yeah.
That's definitely something we should be doing as an industry. Yeah.
So prior to Amgen, you worked for Almac,
Yep.
and it's quite cool because then it means you have expertise from both the sponsor and the vendor side when it comes to clinical systems. Um, from both of those perspectives, I guess, how do you think that sponsors and vendors can collaborate better with each other?
Yeah, I kind of view this as there's on both sides of this equation, right, is this need for us to break down some barriers that I say contribute to like hypersensitivity toward confidentiality. I mean, confidentiality obviously is critical. We've got
Yeah.
to have it in our industry, but I believe that there's across vendors and sponsors, and the experience I've seen is that maybe we're a bit too hypersensitive to it. So needing to open up as an industry across the sponsor vendor relationship, to talk about like what are the problems we're seeing and facing, how we're overcoming those with solutions. The more we share that together, I think collectively we're going to be learning more from each other and helping us as an industry progress and for the benefit of right the patients and the treatments that will be available and such. So I think that's I'm going to throw your little a plug for you, Sarah, and the conference.
Yes.
I mean that's the benefit of the IRT conference, right? It helps us get together to share each other's experiences and lessons learned.
Yeah. No, thank you. I appreciate the plug. So that leads on to my next question, I guess, then. So, I guess there always is a need to drive innovation and progression, right? In everything that we're doing. But what else do you think we need from the clinical community to drive that innovation and progression in the way that we're currently, you know, approaching IRT and I guess supply chain strategies?
Uh-huh. I definitely think that maybe it's a situation of over the years you start getting wrapped up in technology and process that sometimes we lose our mind away from end user, clinical site user, and patient experience. But definitely needing to swing that pendulum back. I know last year, right at the IRT conference, we heard about like a myriad of system challenges that and process challenges that personnel at Boston Medical were experiencing related to IRT and clinical systems. They showed like a whole long list of different computer systems that for different sponsors, and each they had different usernames and passwords to keep track of, and they gave insight to how they had to enter data in multiple systems, like even their own institutional software that was duplicative. So it's really no wonder that they feel pulled in so many directions. So that is something that here this year, the many sponsor companies, we've been working together trying to discuss this, exploring ways that we can ease some of that burden and look at things like easier data file exchanges between the IRT systems and their institutional software, like as an example. So we need to be as an industry more patient and site centric, provide that more approach. So maybe it is a pendulum swing that we need to just go back to reconsidering our approaches so we can try to be more kind and mindful of the end user experience.
Sure. Okay. And then my final question is, looking forward to October in Boston. I guess what are you most looking forward to about the event, or what are you most looking forward or hoping to hear about?
Yeah, I mean, I think we, as an industry, often are like, I'm going to go learn about all this innovation, right? That's happening, and perhaps some of our individual expectations might be higher than realistically feasible in the RT industry today. So, I'll probably go back to what I said before that my hope is that we can help each other, by gathering together at this conference, sharing our own lessons learned, our perspectives on future plans, and that could include innovative thoughts of what different ways to do things, but just sharing lessons learned and those perspectives can help us as an industry learn from the past, drive forward progress into the future, and build those relationships that will help us get there.
Well, thanks, Derek. And I look forward to meeting you in person in October.
Yeah, likewise, Sarah. Thanks.
Okay. Thank you.
All right.